Welcome to Earth 2 where superheroes exist and comic book talk is the norm. It's your boy MoeCrosby. Wow, we just saw in my opinion, the best episode of Game of Thrones ever. The best episode of Game of Thrones for the season and the best episode of Game of Thrones ever. This didn't have as much of a spectacle as last week's, but the thread in which this episode was woven together with and how everything from season 1 came down into this and like a lot of I want to call this episode the redemption episode. Sadly I can't. The episode is titled The Dragon and the Wolf. um you saw my reactions. If you haven't, they're posted to certain parts of the episode that I definitely will be highlighting as we go on in this review and recap. I'm also gonna go ahead and do a season recap next week, so be on the lookout for that. I'm talking too much, so let me go ahead and first go. You know how we do on Earth 2. Let me go ahead and ask you guys to sit back, relax, and as always,
Welcome to the planet.
so the episode again is titled "The Dragon and the Wolf." I mean, this again was, in my opinion, one of the best episodes of Game of Thrones ever. Like, and you didn't need a big war to make this episode great. You just needed a couple things that happened in it, and people realizing things. And again, like I said, redemption. On a sad note, we didn't get the Clegane Bowl. That was sad because I really wanted the Clegane Bowl to happen. On another side note, I think we might have seen the end of Tormund, because when I get to the very end of this discussion, we'll understand why I said that. But anyways, let's get into this because there's a lot to unpack and a lot to open up and show. Um, First things first, we're in the Dragon Pit. This is where this episode opens. We're in King's Landing, and Jamie sees it. First of all, they see the Unsullied, and then they see the Dothraki screamers and raiders ride through, and then they get to the Dragon Pit, and they sit down for this meeting, and it's like Cersei's like, why isn't she here? Why did she come late? She obviously they're referring to Daenerys. Everyone is there. Brienne is obviously there too, so everyone is here. This meeting is gonna happen. We get the Cleganes step to each other. The Hound steps to the mountain and says, I know you, you know me, you remember me. Oh, it's on. Like, we're gonna get ours later on and stuff like that. He says fighting words to him. Euron obviously says some words to Jamie as he steps up to speak, because Daenerys comes in with two dragons without three. The reason I'm noting two is because later in the episode it's referenced, so I'm gonna get there. So Daenerys comes in with two dragons. I mean, it's lit. Everyone is, the tensions are high. You can cut the tension with a knife. They get to it. They open up the box. The white comes out, and the white is looking at. The white runs up to Cersei, but the Hound is able to pull it back, slice the white in half. They cut the hand. They burn it. All of that. They this whole demo is they do this whole demonstration. Cersei at first is like, you can tell that she's scared, and she goes, "Hey, I will join you. I'm not gonna join you. I'm going to cut off. I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop marching north. I'm gonna keep my army here, and as long I'll do this, but the king in the north has to swear that he's not going to join you to fight me. Period." John, being the honorable man he is, says, "Look, I will keep my word, but I've already given my word to Daenerys, and I can't take my word back from her." Obviously, he's not just saying that because he wants to say it. He's saying that because he's in love with her, or he's falling for her, as we saw last week when they held hands. Um, Cersei's like, "All right, fine," and there's no truce. She walks away. Everyone jumps on Jamie. Euron, after seeing the whole demonstration with the white, says, "I'm out." Everyone jumps on John. You shouldn't have done it. You should have lied. John is like, I want to lie, but my father, air quotes, the reason I'm doing this again, because something is going to be said in this episode that is going to drop, later on, that we're going to find out. So John is like, my father, you can say what you want to say about him, but this is the kind of man I am. This is the kind of man he raised me to be. All that is said, we move forward. Tyrion decides, I'm going to go talk to her. So Tyrion walks in, and I don't know what he says to her. They come out. Again, this is the scary part, because before Tyrion walks in, he sees Jamie, and Jamie's like, I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know why you walking, into with the most murderous woman in all of Westeros and think you can convince her or whatever. Jamie's like, I guess we should say our goodbyes. The brothers love each other, which regardless of whatever's happened. And Tyrion walks in there with the mountain, just him, the mountain, and her. And I'm like, Tyrion is dead in my mind. But somehow he walks out, and she walks out, and I don't know what he said to her, but she says, "Look, I'm not just gonna stop my army. I'm not gonna stop my army. Matter of fact, I'm gonna march north, and I'm gonna fight this thing with you guys." Boom. Everyone is like, wow, this is crazy. At least we accomplished what we wanted to accomplish. Now we're back in Winterfell. Sansa and Lord Baelish are talking. So they're talking. Peter Baelish, they're talking, and it's like Littlefinger's like, look, whatever you're trying to do it quick. You gotta take your sister out. Blah blah blah. He's really pitting the sisters against each other. With the letter, and now with talking to Sansa. Talking Sansa into sending what's her name away, and all of this. So the tensions are really high, and I'm thinking, man, she's bought it. Like whatever Littlefinger was selling, she's definitely bought it, and she's gonna go kill her sister. And I'm like, wow, this is about to be the worst thing ever. They definitely okey doke us. The sisters end up coming together with Bran and then killing Littlefinger. I'm guessing Bran kind of like solved this issue, but that was done off camera, and so we didn't see them talking. Or if not, the sisters had already been plotting to do this. We're not really sure how it happened, but it happened, and he's dead. We're back in, and then we now go back to Dragonstone, where Theon Greyjoy at this point starts to find his balls again. And, technically he starts to find his balls, and he tells Jon, "Look, I want to follow you, but my sister, the only person who came to find me, who came to rescue me, I got to go find her." And Jon is like, "Well, do it." They kind of have he has a redemption moment with Jon, and then goes off to have a redemption moment with his men. So that's another reason I'm calling this the redemption episode, because that's one redemption in this episode, and we're gonna find another one where Jaime, is planning, to move the armies north, and his sister tells him, "No, I never really wanted to do that. I just said anything, to make anything happen." And Jaime starts to see his sister for who she is, and it's like, well, okay, fine, you have a child. I don't care what you want to kill me. No one walks away from me. And Jaime now actually starting to see his sister for who she is, and this is what I feel like everyone has been telling Jaime, like, your sister's a devil. And it's amazing because at the end of their discussion, when it looks like she was going to kill him, Jaime walks away, and I'm guessing he's riding north. He's going to Winterfell. He covers his hand up, obviously, because they have enemies the further into the north you get. So we're gonna get to see a lot of, like, Jaime, try to find himself again. Find a man he is without his sister, because for all it is, Jaime has always been Jaime with his sister, with Cersei. Jaime has never been Jaime by himself, or the only time Jaime was when he was with Brienne of Tarth. So now that is something we might see again. We might get that combination of the two of them again later on. That was pretty good. Jaime's redemption, or Jaime's road to redemption, pretty much, because he rides down the road. So that might be what we call that. You turn that around, and we're back now again. So that's two redemptions back to back. I wanted to do that way. And so we turn back around. Now we go back to Winterfell, and Sam is now in Winterfell. He goes to talk to Bran, because Bran is the guy in Winterfell right now. So I guess that's who he needs to talk to. So in talking to Bran, Bran is like, Jon needs to know. Jon needs to know what? That my father is not his father. What? His father is definitely Rhaegar. I might have missed it. I think I was talking about it a while ago. His father is definitely Rhaegar, and his mom is my aunt. What? Aunt Lena? Lena? So yeah, we find out R plus L is definitely equals J. But the thing about it is, the story was Rhaegar raped Aunt Lina, but he didn't. They got married, because that's what Sam found out. That's what Gilly was reading Sam, because technically Sam was like, I found this, while I was doing this. No, you didn't. Gilly found that. Let's call Sam out for that bullshit right there. Sam, you did not find that out. Gilly found that out, and then you might have taken it and read more into it. So let's give Gilly. I'm going to give Gilly the credit for that, because Gilly was talking about it in that episode. So now we find out, and just as we're finding out, this is while I'm watching the episode, I'm freaking out because while we're finding this out and while they're talking, John walks into Daenerys' room. Aunt Daenerys knocks on the door, and so John is actually the real heir to the throne, the Iron Throne. It's kind of crazy, but this is just really weird, and it's, I don't know. It just looked really weird to watch it happen. While it's like while we're finding out that that's what it is, we're watching this happen, and while Bran is telling the story of, oh, they wed, and the baby, and we find out John's real name. It's Aegon Targaryen, and that's pretty cool. So John is Aegon. So that was another pretty cool thing that we found out. And then we get the sisters kind of like tell each other how much they respect each other in their different ways, which was really good. After they had plotted to take away Littlefinger, they now decided to, oh, you know what, I do respect you. I respect you. You're cool in your way. You're cool in your way. It's like I would have never survived. Oh, you're like, you're the strongest person I know. That was really cool to see, and for them to talk to each other the way they did with a lot of respect, and like that, end it like that. So that strife is dead, and I'm glad that the strife is dead. But you know what? This is one thing I like, is that the writers and directors okey doked us to use that strife the way they used it to make us like want to pick sides, but they knew what they were doing. Got to give them props for that. And then we fast forward to the end of the episode where pretty much that's almost the end of the episode. Then we fast forward to the end of the episode where we're back at the wall. We see the wall, on both sides, and Tormund is, looking over the wall, and he sees the army of the dead. And just as the army of the dead pulls up to the wall, they stop because they can't cross the wall. Viserion flies in, white-eyed blue dragon flies in, blowing blue flames, and he destroys the wall. And again, this is why I said we might have seen the end of Tormund. So I got to do 2 RIPs this episode. I'm going to do 2 RIPs based on the fact that we didn't see a dead body per se for Tormund, but we saw one for Littlefinger. So Littlefinger RIP, Tormund RIP and a half, because we don't know if you're dead for real. That is my recap of the episode. It was pretty good. Like I said, the best episode because there wasn't a lot of crazy action set pieces. It was more, planning and plotting, and this is what Game of Thrones is. This is what Game of Thrones is, and this is what it feels like. This is why, to me, season 5 was one of the best. Was one of the better seasons, is because there was more planning and plotting in season 5 as opposed to just, heavy action every week. So I really like this episode. I will go ahead and give this one a 9.5 out of 10. Nothing is ever perfect. Some things I had issues with. Fast travel again happened, but it's by the way. But this is one of the best episodes I've seen in terms of just having everything come together the way it did, and just having all the plots like line up, and having all the people line up to make the plots line up the way they did. So 9.5 out of 10 for this. I want you guys to go ahead and comment down on the comment section below and tell me what you thought of the episode. Tell me what you thought of each part. Again, each part of, or where did you react to, or what did you react to the most? My 2 reactions that I posted up were John, the Jon Snow reveal, and where everyone thought it was Jon Sand. Even what's his name thought it was Jon Sand at first, but no, it's actually Aegon Targaryen. So it's that was my reaction, was there. And Viserion tearing down the wall, that was another thing I reacted to because that was incredible, the way it was done. That's my reaction. That's my recap and review for the episode. 9.5. I really liked it. I thought it was really one of the better ones we've seen. I mean, for this season, I'm gonna go ahead and say for this season, that was one of the better episodes we've seen. Again, let me know what you think about the episode. Let me know which episode was the best one to you. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and the Twitter. Check us out check out our podcast on audiomac.com/Earth2Comicast. Again, it's your boy MoeCrosby. This was my Game of Thrones review and recap for the dragon and the wolf. And I'm gonna guess why that's, the dragon and the wolf is the dragon, Rhaegar, and thank you for watching. For your long videos.